Hi everybody, welcome back for another episode of Dad Gym Life. I'm Bill Hassler, and today we're going to talk about why mindset is everything. I've been doing a lot of studying lately on goal setting and mindset, and I'm here to share my message with you. Emphasis on mess, because my life is far from perfect. We're all still trying to figure it out. But you've probably heard a lot, it's kind of everywhere, that mindset is everything. They talk about it in business and in sports. So the question is why? Why is mindset everything? You hear that it is, but why? And that's what we're going to dive into today. And just a warning, it's going to get sciencey. But first, please hit the like and subscribe and the bell icon and all that stuff. The simple explanation for why mindset is everything is that when you are trying to establish a new habit or you're trying to reach a new goal, there are no neural pathways in your brain to help you achieve that thing that previously didn't exist. There's literally no path to get there, right? So let me give you an example. Let's say I want to weigh 190 pounds, right? There's not a neural pathway of habits that get me to 190 pounds. There are neural pathways in my brain that get me to 210 and 220 and 225, but there's not been anything to get me to 190 in a very, very long time. Or if you say, I just want to have healthy relationships, but you've only had failed or toxic relationships, you have these neural pathways in your brain that are guiding you to that direction just because you've had negative experiences and you don't have the neural pathways to push you in that opposite direction. So the question is, are we doomed, right? So what keeps us from creating those neural pathways? Well, in your brain, there's this thing called the reticular activating system. And basically, its job is to filter out the stuff that you don't need. Either things that aren't going to be helpful or things that'll hurt you. And a lot of times for the reticular activating system, anything new is also viewed as bad, right? We want to maintain our homeostasis. We like to be comfortable. We like to be kind of set in our ways. And that's part of your brain's job. The question then becomes, if we don't have the neural pathways and the reticular activating system is like goalie blocking these new ideas from creating the new neural pathways, is all lost. Like, is there anything that we can do? Maybe you've heard it takes 30 days to form a habit. That number is a little arbitrary. It really is anywhere from 20 to 120 days. And it doesn't really have to do with the number of days, it's the amount of repetitions, right? The more we repeat something, the more the reticular activating system says, this thing keeps showing up, this thing keeps showing up, maybe there's something to this thing. And it allows your synapses to create those new neural pathways. What does it look like to create those new neural pathways? Well, the very, very first step is forgiveness. And that might sound a little weird when we're talking about, the brain function and whatnot, but forgiveness is huge for developing new habits and achieving goals. And the reason is a lot of the negative feelings that we hold are associated with those old neural pathways, right? When we are trying to form a new habit or reach a new goal and we fail, our subconscious is saying, we were comfortable back there. And unless we can forgive ourselves for our failures, we're not going to be able to form those new habits and form those new neural pathways. The same goes for forgiving others. Forgiving others, you'll hear this a lot. It's less about them and it's more about you. And when you're trying to form those new habits, those negative feelings are associated with those old neural pathways, so they kind of have to go. So if you're stuck and you're trying to progress and you feel like you're not progressing, you might need to forgive somebody. So think about that. Maybe who could you forgive? And it might be you and it might be somebody else that's going to help you move forward and form those habits or achieve those goals. Let's go with forming the habit of healthy relationships. So if you've only had toxic relationships or failed relationships, it doesn't mean that there aren't good, healthy relationships out there. It means that you've had some negative experiences in the past that have created neural pathways that have gently guided other relationships in that direction. It doesn't mean that there weren't other factors. there are things you can do if you find the right person to make sure that those relationships have the best chance. Sometimes it is as simple as finding the right person. My wife and I, we both dated a bunch of people before we got married. Before I married my wife, I dated a girl for a year, and another girl for 8 months, and another girl for 5 months. And I thought that I would need to date somebody for a long time to know that she's the one, right? But I met my wife, and within 3 weeks, we chose our wedding date. And that's not unheard of where we're from, but we've been married now for 12 years, and we have 4 beautiful kids, and we're pretty dang happy. And then I've seen the other way happen, where people date for 3 years, and then they get married, and they're divorced within a year, right? Sorry, tangent. But the good news is you get to tell yourself a different story. You get to tell yourself that you are worthy of being loved, that you are capable of healthy love and relationships. And a really easy way to do that is just in the 10 to 15 minutes before you fall asleep at night. You tell yourself the story of what you look like in a healthy relationship, of what that relationship looks like. And what happens is your subconscious, as you sleep, it goes through the day and it tries to kind of sort it all out. And it especially focuses on what happens right before you go to sleep. So doing that for 10 or 15 minutes before you go to bed will have a drastic impact on your relationships. Imagine doing that for 20 to 120 days. What do your relationships look like at the end of that time? And if you really want to kind of take it that extra mile, when you get up in the morning in those first 10 or 15 minutes, tell the same story. And the more and more you say it, the more and more that reticular activating system is going to say, hey, this keeps coming up. And the more your actions are going to match what you're saying. And it doesn't all happen at once, it takes time, but you really can see incredible changes in your relationships in a short period of time. But this is Dad Gym Live, so let's talk about what this looks like for fitness and health goals, right? Let's give that example of getting down to 190 pounds. When I get up in the morning, I try to get up between 4 and 5. Sometimes it's between 5 and 6. And let's be honest, sometimes it's between 6 and 7. But when I get up early in the morning, I have to say to myself, I'm excited to be up because I get to go do something I love, which is work out. And I really do enjoy working out. But not every day, right? Some days I wake up and my body hurts and it's cold outside and the bed's super warm, but I have to say it over and over. I'm excited to be up because I get to go do something that I love. And I haven't perfected it. But a year ago, I was going to the gym in that kind of 6 to 7 hour, maybe twice a week, and then 2 to 4 days a week, I was just working out wherever I could fit it in. And now I pretty much work out before 6 o'clock most days. And it comes down to that reinforcement. And there are still days where I sleep in, and there are sometimes weeks where I screw up. And that's where we come back to that forgiveness. If I screw up and I have a bad week and I say, you know what, I can't get up early, I can't do these hard things, then that's just going to reinforce those old neural pathways, and it'll make building these new ones even more difficult. If you had told me a year ago that I would ever get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to go to the gym, I probably would have laughed at you. I am not a morning person, I never have been, but I actually kind of am now. And the same reinforcement goes with food. At my job, they have like limitless snacks, and I just walk around the office and I say, screw you, Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, I don't want you. And I've said it enough that I kind of believe it. I still enjoy Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. They were traditionally my favorite, but I don't have to eat them, right? When I say I don't want you, I kind of don't. And very occasionally I'll have a Reese's Peanut Butter Cup, but when I started working there and it was just Reese's for free, ooh, that was tough. I was having at least one a day, and those are like the 2-packs. But I've reinforced it enough, I've submitted enough data to that reticular activating system that now it's said, there's something to this. This is just the tip of a very large iceberg, and it's just one technique to kind of help you get to where you're going. And I hope that it's been helpful. I love self-improvement. And like I said in the beginning, life is messy, and if you don't feel like you're quite there and you don't have everything together, don't worry, we're all just trying to figure it out. If you haven't yet, please watch the Comfort Will Kill You video here and the Take Care of Your Body video here. Thanks for stopping by, and we will catch you next time.
Watch the videos.